Are you someone who wants the people you love and care about to be the best version of themselves? Now, sometimes what happens is the people we love and care the most are typically the ones who are the hardest for us to help. Now, what that means is it's very hard sometimes for people that we love and care about to take our opinions and our advice in the best manner. So I picked up this tip from reading this book called The Advice Trap. It's a very interesting name, as you can see. And the idea is that advice actually causes people not to listen to you. Now, I'm learning myself how to do this. I'm still someone who gives a hell of a lot of advice, sometimes to people who actually don't want to listen to my advice at that current moment. They're maybe not ready for it, or maybe they just don't think the exact same way that I do. And I think what we all inherently understand is that everybody is their own person. Everybody has their own thoughts and feelings. And what happens is we assume sometimes that the people we care about aren't thinking the best for themselves when they are. So to ensure that the people we want to influence actually listen to our opinions and our ideas, what we need to do is move away from being someone called an advice monster and become a coach. So what are the actionable steps you can actually do in order to become more like a coach and less like an advice monster? Well, there's 3 things that you can do. The first thing that you can do in order to become more of a coach and less of an advice monster is to be lazy. That's right, be lazy. What does it mean to be lazy? Now, being lazy means that you're stepping back out of people's problems, right? You don't want to get in, you don't want to get involved because you're lazy, right? You don't want to get into people's issues and up in their stuff because you just don't want to be involved. That's the first step, being lazy. Second step, be curious. Now, sometimes what we do is we try to lecture people based on how we think. And instead, what we do is we need to be curious. And the way we be curious is to start asking smarter questions of the people that we want to influence and the people that we care about. And these questions will be targeted towards things that maybe you've picked up and you want them to pick up as well, or maybe something that you feel they need to focus on at the current moment. So basically more like a coach instead of an advice monster. And finally, the third step that you need to do to be a coach rather than an advice monster is to be humble. Right? You might not be right. Have you ever thought about that? That sometimes the advice and the lecturing that you give people is actually not correct. And instead, by being lazy and stepping out of the situation and listening, actually connecting and understanding people's situations, maybe, just maybe, you'll find out that you were wrong all along. And they were the ones in the right anyway. And in that case, you become your own coach. So to conclude with this video, by coaching instead of giving advice, we can influence the people that we care about and our colleagues and our friends to become the best version of themselves without having to push them away by giving them advice that they might not necessarily want to hear or want to know from you at the current moment. And if we don't understand this, well, we can become our advice monsters, people that our friends and our families and our colleagues actually avoid because basically we're giving them too much of our opinion and too much of our advice when it's unsolicited and they basically just don't want to hear you talk. Yeah.